You Philly Finest, what up? DW in the chat. For those who don't know, that is the Run It Back Philly Queen right there. Tyler, what's up, man? Nick21, what's up? Jeff Sherms, Brandon Drolls, Run It Back Nation. Yeah. Run it back, nation. What is good? It is your boy DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. Algo gang, do your thing. Hit the like button. Push the stream through that YouTube algorithm. That's the only reason I have views is because I've mastered the YouTube algorithm, and it's all because of you guys pushing the likes, the comments, and everything, and YouTube keeps saying, "Hey, people like this, man. Let's push this out to more people." So that's how it works. So keep doing it. All right. What do I got to say before we get into this? Oh yeah, DraftKings. Bet $5 on any game, get $200 in free bets. Only from DraftKings. The link's in the description. It's simple. You click it, you bet $5, they give you $200. I don't know what else to say. That's a no-brainer. So go ahead and click the link and sign up for DraftKings. Do that for me. All right. I have with me Jimmy Smith from On the Road to Victory. I came across Jimmy's channel on YouTube a couple weeks ago. And I was just like, this dude knows his shit, man. This dude knows what he's talking about. This dude's good. He needs a little bit more attention on YouTube, man. So I brought him on the show. And here he is. Jimmy, thanks for coming on and give the people a little rundown. Tell the people about yourself a little bit.
My man, Run It Back. What an honor it is to be here, dude. I really can't thank you enough for having me on. So first and foremost, I just wanted to say that. But thank you to everybody tuning in. And yeah, man, hit that like button, subscribe. I'm definitely learning the ways, trying to learn from the greats here, from Run It Back here. You guys give them like some comments because, there are some great content creators out here. And I myself, started doing this a few years ago, got sick and ended up, in a hospital bed, almost died. So in my recovery, created my own brand, started doing my own graphics, this, that, the other thing. But I wanted to, host my own show, do all these other things, and I had all these aspirations. Well, I had nothing but time. So I did it. Now I'm here years later. I've been a writer. I do all kinds of things for, I'm like for hire here, essentially. But the YouTube channel has finally got over 1,000, finally learning myself how to get people to hit those like buttons and everything. But I'm a diehard Eagles fan, man. My grandfather worked at Connie Mack Stadium. Just to give you an idea, it's been passed down through the bloodline. I mean, you cut me open, green's coming out. So I'm the only one actually, though, in my family that was not born in Philadelphia. I grew up 2.5 hours away. Ended up moving to Philadelphia when I was 18 because, well, I just hated where I lived. So it's in my blood, though. I love it. So that's why you don't hear much of an accent from me. But I, through and through, 4 for 4. And, the one true to my soul, though, is the birds. That's where, that's what I put my focus on. That's what I was trying to talk about that year. And that year happened to be the year that I tried to talk about why Nick Foles could win the Super Bowl. Got a lot of slack for that. And what a first year. So I felt like it was my destiny, man. So not to ramble on there, but, I'm just a diehard man, and I have been doing this and just trying to grow my channel and try to, I've made some connections with some of the trainers and the chefs of these players and just tried to, I got invited to some games last year. I went to a closed practice this year. So I'm trying to move up the ranks and change the game, man, because there's a lot of misinformation out of there. And there's just a lot of slander. And look, I'm all about a great debate. And, it's great to be skeptical of things like, you want to have, you don't want to just have the blinders on. You don't want to be a homer. But a lot of the stuff is just blind hate. And I wasn't having it this year. I wasn't having it the past few years. So I sought out to change the game. And I love, what guys like Philly Mike, Philly 500, guys out there just doing great stuff. And that's, what I aspire to do. I just want people to share that brotherly love, a place to come and just, hey, I want to talk some birds. And I don't say that I know more than anyone or feel that way. It's just I have such a dedication to the game and always have that. look, I break stuff down. I don't want to talk
Mhm.
about the clickbait stuff. I talk about, the multiple scheme defense all summer. I talked about the draft, adding why we should get Hassan Reddick, although struggling, Kaiser White, why we should draft Jordan Davis, things like that. So I focused on actual football. And you and I, that's how we met. And it was just like, yo, we definitely like each other because we're on the same page, dude. So that's just a little bit about me. I'm a diehard, and I can't thank everyone enough for tuning in tonight. And I can't thank you enough for having me on, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, so you predicted Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl.
Bro, you want to talk about insanity. I remember being at my Uncle Jimmy's house, the Rams game when he gets hurt. And dude, when you want to see the Smith family, like, everyone knows your family's the Eagles. Everybody's losing their shit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at that moment, it's over. The year we're finally going to win it. And I'm like, okay, this is your chance because, dude, I'm like really sick at this point, but like I'm beating death, trying to struggle. And I'm just trying to have that fighting spirit, and I'm like, look, this before the year I broke down why Nick Foles was a perfect backup. And a lot of people, I don't want to back it. It's like, but look, the familiarity with Doug Peterson, being here, blah, blah, blah. He comes in, dude. Didn't look great at first, but I stuck to my guns. Called into Mike Missinelli's show, and I never call into those. But he was talking trash and wasn't happened to be in Philly. Told him we're beating the Falcons. I was there for the game. Said we're going to beat them, and then we're going on to win the Super Bowl. He ends up saying some cocky shit to me, and then they hang up on me, so I can't say anything back. I was like, bro, I hope we win. So when we did, I came back. He blocked me. And I was like, hey, what was that again? I couldn't hear you. So what a wild year. But I remember, like, I was at my dad's grave that morning. I was like, yo, if this happens, like, finally, dude, after 30 plus years of waiting, this is my destiny. Because my dad always wanted me to be like into broadcasting, doing stuff like that. And I should do it in school, So it's like, I'm finally back to chasing my dreams. I was like, I'll do it. If we win this, we're going to win this. And it was just, man, what an emotional time, man, even thinking about it.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, that's how they do on those radio shows, man. You're not allowed to disagree. You're not allowed to bring a different perspective. Oh, click, hang up, and now I'm gonna roast you, and you're not allowed to talk because I hung up on you.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Exactly.
Condescending. I don't understand I think that was an old school. I mean, I know that was an old school thing, but I mean, I don't think that works today too much. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's on its way out. And they all happen to be jumping over to YouTube, by the way. So welcome to the future.
Hit that like button so you get the real content creators going out there, huh?
Speaking of backup quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts. Let's just start there because not that he's a backup right now. Maybe he was drafted to be a backup and things went sideways. Let's just start there because speaking of skepticism, I was very skeptical of Jalen Hurts at the end of last season. Actually, like week 3, Dallas Cowboys, when he threw that one down the right sideline that was like 18 yards short for an
I know what you mean.
And speaking of families also, a lot of people on YouTube can't handle how overreactionary I really am. Like, I'm that guy. Like, your family that was saying it's over, we're done. That's me. That's how I am.
I grew up in it.
And
love it.
That's how my uncles were growing up. That's how everybody was. Like, they were like, it's done, we suck, it's over. Duh.
Yep.
And so, I didn't see the raw, like, throwing talent. Like, I didn't see a quarterback that I thought could throw the ball but maybe needed to hone it in, or had a rifle but maybe needed to dial it back and work on this and work on that. I just thought, like, he just doesn't look like he can throw the ball good enough to be an NFL franchise quarterback, and I wasn't afraid to say that, and I stand on it. People keep coming at me, where's that energy from last year? I'm sitting up here admitting 2 weeks in a row, this dude has looked incredible. Like, it's blowing me away. I would be happy to be wrong about it. I don't know what the hell he did this offseason, but the ball looks tighter coming out of his hand. The pass looks quicker and has more zip on it. The accuracy in just 2 games has been, like, on the money. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because, he could have a bad game. He could have a bad couple of games or whatever. But these first 2 games have looked insane. I mean, his accuracy is not anything close. It's not what it was last season.
And look, you got to respect that, man. And look, we all get stuff wrong, and you got to say it with your chest. Believe in what you're saying, and if you're wrong, you're wrong. At least you admit. There's people out there. People I can't stand is when people come at like someone like me, and it's like, you don't know what you're talking about, and it's like, okay, well, I'm breaking down how I feel this way. You tell me why, and if they don't, and it's just, well, you're an asshole, and it's like, oh, what the hell? Like, I don't understand that. So I love, when people could just admit it, and it's like, okay, let's move on from that because look, he's looked great. I didn't see this, and it's like, look, I don't see a lot of things. I thought Jalen Reagor could do something special. I thought, Justin Jefferson should have been the pick, but it is what it is. I was hopeful, but look at that. So I think, Jalen Hurts for me. Okay. So when you said it, like you wanted to go back. So we'll go back to where, when he gets drafted, I'm like, I remember it was literally like 6 minutes were still left. And I remember somebody said I was on like a party, like 9 people. And they're like, dude, they're drafting Jalen Hurts. Like somebody just told me. And I was like, why would we draft a quarterback? Like we wouldn't do that. And then the time came and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Right. So we draft him and I'm like we just gave Carson Wentz money, but I guess he gets hurt. I'm like literally trying to justify it in my head. I'm like, okay. And I love the kid because I'm like, okay, I've watched him at Alabama, Oklahoma. I love his fighting attitude. I love the leader he is. And, his play style. I love the dual threat quarterback. And he had some really, really great throws at Oklahoma. I thought he did some good things in Alabama. But I think what was the issue for him a lot of time was he had a new system each time. So I tried to watch the things they were doing differently with him. And I just felt like that was a hindrance to him. And then when he came out and said it himself, it was like, oh, like he said, literally, I have not played in the same system since high school. And it's like, you got to imagine trying to learn, even a college system, then an NFL system, and I thought, with Nick Siriani coming in, it was like, okay, look, there's going to be bumpy roads, ladies and gentlemen. Let's strap it in because it's a new coach, a new defensive coach. He didn't bring like some veteran, like when they gave Doug Peterson, Jim Schwartz, it was like, here you go. You take who you want. So I liked it though. I was like, you know what? I'm all in, dude. Because Howie said, I've learned from my mistakes and I was trying to be like, okay, he's going to kill it in this draft. You got Devontae, that, all that great stuff the year after. But, so the Hurts one though, it was still like, what's happening? So this dude, I'm just like, let's see what happens, like whatever, it is what it is. You know what I mean? At that point, it was like, he's here. So when it gets to the point where he gets put in, it was like, okay, that Packers game, it was like, dude, this kid is really fun to watch. He hit Reagor on that bomb. He like hit Ward for that touchdown, I believe. And it was excitement. And the Reagor one wasn't for a touchdown, but it was just, there was exciting plays. And it was like, okay. Then he came out the next week against the Saints. Everybody's like, well, they're the number 1 rushing defense, so he's not going to be able to run. They can't do anything, so it's an automatic loss in his first career start. And he was like, well, actually, I'm going to come out and beat your ass. Yes. So he broke some ankles on his way to doing that. And it was like, holy shit. Okay, so this kid really is something special, but in the NFL, that's great that you can be a dual threat quarterback, but you got to be able to throw. And, the dual threat quarterbacks we have in the league are phenomenal. Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, these guys are able, and there's more, but I'm just saying, those guys are able to throw the damn ball. And I think a lot of people, the misconception was that he didn't have an arm. Now, I'm not saying that he has Josh Allen kind of arm or something like that, but it's not a weak arm. And that's what people kept saying to me. He has a weak arm. I'm like, weak? This dude throws with a higher velocity than Justin Herbert. Like, so the one thing I talked about, and I loved what you were saying there when you were getting, your question in that, he's worked on things and you were like, what the hell is he doing? So what he did was he worked on the velocity. He actually had to tone that down just a little bit and work on his torque. So it was just literally about how he's holding the ball. And I talked about that the year before that, about how he's first out of the, snap. Dude, how is he holding that damn thing? We want him protecting this ball. And this kid has not been turning it over. So he's learning how to do that. He's learning how to not make stupid plays, how to slide, and like the little things. So at one point, a report came out, oh, he's working with Tom Brady and Tom House, and that was not happening. Tom Brady was at a place where he was at, and it was the guy. It's essentially like Darth Anakin to Obi-Wan is who this guy was under Tom House. So the Anakin here was teaching Jalen Hurts this offseason. And man, I told you, I had the trainer on. So like that next year when it's like, okay, Carson Wentz is gone, he's the quarterback. It's like, holy shit. So I'm like, I'm going to find out everything I can about this dude. So I get the trainer from the Bro Barn on, and dude, holy shit, was that an awesome, that was an amazing time.
I don't care.
Because, yeah, no doubt. This guy, he was amazing, ex-Marine, but he was a great dude. But he had some of the coolest stories. He used to work for the Maroon 5, dude, and Lane Johnson went to California to a party to convince him why he needed to let this dude come train at this Bro Barn. So he's got all these offensive linemen there, and now Jalen Hurts is going to this Bro Barn. So I'm like, all right, I got to find out about this. So this dude's telling stories about He's up at 4 a.m. They're getting up at like 5:30, getting ready to eat some breakfast, get ready, and he's like, I'm ready for my second set, trying to get people to play him in Madden. And the one cool story he told was they were working out at one point, and ESPN was on, and they're like, the Eagles need to trade for Deshaun Watson. They got to get rid of Jalen Hurts, and he's like, oh, sorry, let me turn that off. And Jalen was like, no, leave that on. At that moment, I was like, oh shit, like this dude. I love that, man. And just the way we started talking. And then after the interview, I ended up talking to this dude for like 2 hours, introduced me to Lane. It was awesome. So we ended up becoming friends. Like, and now I relay as much as I possibly can, because I don't, want to, disrespect anybody, but it's like, dude, these guys are awesome. And they're there with him every day. And the things in those interviews that they're talking about, just with the things he eats, like I got his chef then, because the chef reached out and was like, dude, that was an awesome show. Just want to let you know. And I was like, hey, you want to come on too? Because I want to know what he's eating. He's like, are you serious? And I was like, he's like, there's no way you could make that entertaining. He's like, I've never been on a show. I was like, dude, come on the show and I'll make it entertaining. And dude, I brought up like his dishes and stuff. He's like, oh man, this is crazy. And I was like, look, man, I want people to know that this guy is the most dedicated dude. And look, we're a blue collar city, baby. We just want to see this man working. And that's all we could ask. So I had no idea if he was going to be the next great quarterback. And I still don't know if he's the next great, because like you said, it's 2 games, but how exciting it is. Look, 333 yards, right? 26 for 31, I believe it was. That's 83% passing right there. That's pretty damn good. And he had those 57 rushing yards for 2 touchdowns, which was pretty awesome on top of it. But the narrative that he can't throw in the middle, to the left, he worked on all of those things. And what killed me was all of last year, all I said was, look, dude, we got a lot of picks. We got a lot of cap space. I think we're building something special. If we stay patient and these coaches don't suck ass and they actually just improve each week, and people were pretty rough on them. And the media always just points out the bad. And look, I'm pissed in the game, and after the game, I'm usually talking shit. But once I calm down, break it down, I'm like, all right, it's this guy's 3rd game playing against Tom Brady. I'm going to calm down. So I tried to really change the way I looked at life, really, after I almost died, because I used to be the most insane dude. I overreacted to everything. So
that was me. That was me. Yeah.
And so I hear you, man. But I think right now, and I still do it. I'm not saying I don't, but for me, I stayed patient, and I can't believe, because I was like, look, I know that this kid, it's going to take time. No matter what happens, if he's going to be good, it's going to take time, right? Because we knew there was flaws in his games. So he works on it, and holy shit, we are seeing something magical. And Lions were better than most people thought. So puts up a fight there. The offense did just fine. It was the defense that was questionable. Gannon came out. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But Hurts, man, what an exciting ride it's been. But last year, getting that trainer and that chef before the season, like before the preseason, it solidified for me. And then I watched him like a hawk. And just the way he reacted to the losses and the way the things he said, I was like, yo, this is the kind of dude I want in my corner. Like, he's not quitting. He's like, yo, I'm going back, watching tape, and I'm going to make sure next game I'm not doing that. And dude, he's going to make mistakes. He's still, in progress here. But I think how exciting, man. So you said it. And who cares if anybody was skeptical? Let's enjoy this ride, baby, because I think special things are ahead.
So do you think the main issue, because it was some people said mechanics, some people said just timing. He had a pocket awareness issue that he would run from clean pockets and stuff. And I just did not foresee him fixing all of those things in one offseason.
Right.
And now I see him standing right in the middle of the pocket, eyes down the field, a defensive tackle coming right in his face, and he's hitting a guy on a slant on the money and taking the hit. And I'm like, last year he's bouncing out of that pocket. I just can't believe how much improvement I've seen so far in one offseason. Do you think it was mostly mechanics, like you said, how he's holding the ball, how he's standing, where his feet are planted, things like that?
I do. And, I think the great thing is, you mentioned most of them right there. Great stuff there, man. And, I think the point of emphasis for me was, the whole having to learn a new playbook. You can't work on all these other things when you've got 7,000 plays you're trying to learn. You're the quarterback, baby. You are the leader of this team. You need to know things that I've never even heard of. You know what I mean? So it's, to me, it's amazing to see that he did it in one offseason too, because it's like, look, let's be patient and we'll see throughout the year. Now, I think what happened was, at the end of last year, it was more toward the middle, but he gets that high ankle sprain. And I think past that, you don't see him running as much, but he's not throwing it well because he's got this high ankle sprain. He's trying to stay in the pocket. He's not taking the hits because he's probably scared of, what's going to happen, whatever. So I think for me, and I wasn't trying to make excuses last year, but it was like, I'm seeing this kid writhing in pain, and I can't believe he's even out there, because the game that got postponed, I remember, and sorry if I'm not allowed to say this, but the trainer reached out to me. He's like, dude, if they don't postpone this game, he's like, he is not playing this game on Sunday, or if it was Monday, whatever day it was, and they moved it to like a Tuesday, and then he played. And he said that his ankle was twice the size of what it should be. And I was like, and this dude's playing. And I think the Eagles, because I'm like, you wouldn't do that with your franchise quarterback, but they're like, hey, like, you better prove you're the franchise quarterback. So he went out there and they're like, this mother. And then he goes out this offseason, like you said, and it was all those little things, the intangibles. And it was going through the reads. It was little things that I think most quarterbacks, not everybody comes out like Joe Burrow and even Trevor Lawrence. These guys struggle at times. And it's, some of these quarterbacks are definitely different because they get away, with doing other things. They don't have to pass all the time. So he had an offseason, dude, of just dedication. And that's every time I asked about it, he was in this state doing this. He was working with this guy on his, I was like, what the fuck? What is that? Oh, jeez. But it was so cool. I'm like, it felt like a stalker, but I'm like, dude, I want to know that, I'm putting my faith in something that's going to pay off. And, it just really felt like, hey, look, I'm all in, and whatever happens, happens. And as I've always said, I hope he's the greatest, and I hope he, one of the greatest Eagles quarterbacks ever. But all I know is I think he can be a great quarterback. In my mind, that's where I'm at now. I know that he can do great things. I just don't know how far that goes. You know what I mean? Is he a Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, right? And it's like, I think he could enter that territory. And if he starts throwing like he was, dude, 83%. That was pretty good. And I think they only had like 6 pressures, maybe in like the first half. They ended up with like 4 sacks in the game. The offensive line a little weird right now, but I think Sayamalo at right guard, a lot of stupid penalties, a lot of things going on here that I think you get cleaned up. It's week 2, right? So shit, we're 2-0. We just beat the Vikings. We got Washington, then we got the Jags, right? So I think 2 games you keep learning, right? Tune up games, and you keep tuning up.
Well, we got the Commanders, man. We got Carson Wentz and the Commanders in Washington, who just lost to the Detroit Lions. I wanted to ask you too, because I don't know how high you are on Nick Sirianni at this point yet either, with him, being a rookie coach last season. Play 1 of the season was a designed quarterback run, which I'm still every time I kind of remember that, I scratch my head again, because I'm like, you're supposed to be showing us that this guy can be pass first. I just will never understand how you came out.
Do you think they did it on purpose? I felt like that was like a smack in the face to people, because I was like, there's no way you do that, because I felt the same way, bro. Like,
maybe he was back there like, yeah, let's do this the first play just to fuck with everybody.
Right? Like, why would you do that?
He did run the Philly special his rookie year last season. I'm pretty sure one of the first drives of the season last year, he ran the Philly special. So he's not afraid to just do whatever the hell he wants, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that was interesting to me. That game with the 17 rushes for 90 yards, and then this game, and he got hit a couple times that game. He got the one helmet to helmet where it looked like he was knocked the hell completely out, and I was like, oh my God. Do you think like the Eagles should maybe try to dial him back a little bit? Like, listen, we know you can run, but at the same time, like, yeah, even last season he got the high ankle sprain, and that, like you said, affected him. Do you think it's a bad idea for your, Trey Lance is now out for the season over here, and the 49ers do a whole lot of quarterback style runs and things like that. Do you think it's maybe time where the NFL, everyone's learning, like, this running quarterback thing is cool, it's a good weapon, but at the same time, you're basically, if you do it enough, you're gonna get hurt. You know what I mean? It's like riding a motorcycle. They say it's not when you go down, it's not if you go down, it's when you go down. You're gonna go down at some point. Like, you're gonna get hurt being a running quarterback. Do you think they dialed Jalen Hurts back a little bit, especially with how good he looks throwing the football?
That's a great question, because he does, and I think that's right there. I think that you have trust in him. That, look, we are trusting in you that you have learned how to slide, but also you are learning how to throw the ball so you don't have to. You said it earlier, pocket awareness. You are not escaping for absolutely no reason and just running because I can run. But it's like, let the play develop, man. Go through your reads. And that is also something we talked about, So he improved on all those things. So I think they're thinking to themselves, it's just like Lamar Jackson. Look, we're actually going to call some plays for it. We're going to trust in this dude. He's a tank. I mean, he can squat like 625. I mean, he's a monster. He's a Terminator out there.
But you're right. Into the end zone.
But it's because look at last year, high ankle sprain, like we were talking about. So it's like, it kills you, because it's like, that's his strength, but it's also what could be your kryptonite. So it scares the hell out of me. But For me, I just hope that they keep developing. And what I've been saying is open up that playbook, Shane Steichen. You had said something about how I felt about Siriani. I love Siriani. I love, the crazy shirts and getting into everything. And I want them to be like Doug Peterson, part of the family. I love that. And, what I loved about it was he was struggling mightily last year, not running the ball. And I was furious. And he finally admits he's wrong, which Doug Peterson couldn't do. Love you, Doug. Sorry, but
could not do. Ran it straight into the ground.
Why, Doug? Why?
I'm going with this until you fire me.
Yep.
I'm not changing anything.
And this dude, week 6, he's like, yo, Steichen, take over. We start running the ball. We start seeing improvement. We start seeing things. Then that high ankle sprain happened. So what I wanted to see at the beginning of this year was open that playbook up. Let's see some more passing. So 31 passes this game, completed 26 of them. Holy shit. So, yeah, I don't need him throwing the ball over 30 plus times, but I think they were kind of just doing it to be like, oh, yeah, Justin Jefferson, let me show you a little gritty here. Like, bro, I was there and I was losing my mind. It was insane. It was truly an epic moment, man. Oh my God. Cause I was talking so much trash before the game, like just trying to get people pumped. The Viking fans were going back and then Justin Jefferson back to spin. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you. And I try to break it down. Multiple scheme defenses, how you can disguise things, what you do. And dude, they trusted Darius Slay with that cover 1 double, essentially, having the safety there to help. And we talked, all week I talk about that because it was like, you got to give him some help because that right there, it allows Slay to do different things because he knows he has that up top help. So, bro, he went to work. Yeah. 5 PBUs, 2 interceptions. He could have had 5 interceptions, bro. That place was rocking. I didn't have a voice the next day. I ended up having to drive home, got home at 4 a.m., didn't go to bed that day because I was like, screw it, I got stuff to do. I was on adrenaline, bro, and I drank like one of those freaking Starbucks things. So I was driving. So amped up, made like a morning video. Dude, got to work. Dude, got done, made another video. I was like, I'm so excited because this is what I just wanted to show people, that there's some people out there misinforming them about switching in defense, and we didn't have cap space in the draft. But, and it was like, no, man, let people get excited about the Eagles. And look, there's people that are skeptical of, Jalen Hurts, of Jonathan Gannon, and that is rightfully so because they have shown reason to be skeptical. The only reason I have these strong feelings is because I got so close to these people that are close to them. So for me, it was like I got the cheat code. You know what I mean? Like I was learning all this crazy stuff. I'm like, this dude is seriously insane. Like the stuff they were telling me, it was just like, bro. And it's fun. Like those 2 guys, Justin and Gabe, are the 2 coolest dudes. And I'm looking forward to hitting up a game with them this year. They take care of our offensive line and our quarterback. But man,
that's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
It's been a great ride.
I guess you segued right into the defensive topic. Speaking of Jonathan Gannon, I've been on his ass on my YouTube channel. I was on last season, and then the Lions game comes around, and I just see very just conservative cushion, just giving guys 7 yards off the line of scrimmage, and it just looked like. What are we doing here? Why are we doing this? We gave you now all these weapons. Like finally, Howie Roseman, who was for some reason anti-linebacker for 5 straight years, finally gives you a whole team of linebackers. I don't even think Kazir White's name is brought up enough. I think that dude's phenomenal. And Hassan Reddick and Nakobe Dean, who he hasn't really used yet, but he gave you a bunch of linebackers. Jordan Davis adds to the defensive line. Brandon Graham comes back. I'm just, Darius Slay, Bradbury. He gets the safety from the Saints, Gardner Johnson, and I'm like, he gave you all these weapons. At the Detroit game, I didn't see anything happening on the defensive side of the ball. What do you think was different, I guess, against Minnesota? Did Jonathan Gannon switch something up, or did what he normally does just work against Minnesota?
So, love it what you're just saying there. For me, it was like, this is how I felt week 1. I spent, bro, and when I tell you, I made like at least 4 or 5 different multiple ones where I created graphics where it shows like how they're like lining up, showing the odd fronts, the even fronts, all the different, schemes you were going to see. And because I kept saying we're going to switch defense, I'm like, no, we're not. We ran that defense last year. We just didn't have the right personnel. So I talked about adding a nose tackle, a Sam linebacker, all these things. So for me, Howie had to go do that. And he literally did all of it and then some. It was like, wait, he really got Bradbury, Gardner Johnson, Kaiser White, Nakobe Dean, all the guys you mentioned there, dude. And it was like, okay, so now there's no excuse for you. So we go out in that first half. Now they started running the ball pretty well against us, except for when Jordan Davis was in there, 2.9 yards per carry when he wasn't 10 yards per carry. So he starts running all over the place. And, we did hold them to 7 by half. I was like, okay. But then, like you said, playing 7 yards off, you're getting soft in the second half. Dude, this is the NFL. What? You didn't learn anything last year? So I said after that game, I said, I'm furious because I just spent months talking about, oh, yeah, you're going to run this game, you're going to do this. But the thing about it is you never know which week. Now we can try to pinpoint, and that's what I do throughout the week, breaking it down, what defense can stop this offense that this team is running. What are we going to be running on offense to go against their defense? That's the kind of things, I try to do. And, the first week, it's like, look, I understand each week they're going off of, what matchups are, and they don't feel Davis or Dean are ready yet. And I get it, because one of the things, my excitement of, hitting the lottery, essentially getting all the players I wanted was we still have to be patient. Let's not, I still think we're a contender. Has to go as I still think it does. It didn't happen yet. So let's just be patient. Let's not, stomp on everyone's face. And I will rub it in people's faces when, it hurts the words. And then I see them post about oh yeah, I never said. And I'm like, oh, F you, dude. Because look at you. You were a man right there. And you're like, hey, I was skeptical. And that's okay because we're all very skeptical at times. And trust me, 10 years ago, I was skeptical of everything. I'd be like, F this guy. He threw an incompletion. Just a little wild. But I think that Jonathan Gannon this week was like, okay, I'm not taking, the pedal, I'm taking the pedal to the metal. I'm not taking it off. And I think what you had to do is we talked about it. There needs to be every effing scheme thrown out at them. So what you saw was the cover 0, the cover 1, which you're getting man coverage on Justin Jefferson, which is insane. Darius Slay proving he's one of the top cornerbacks in the game. And then you saw a lot of the cover 2, you saw cover 4 or cover 3, even you saw cover 4, and you saw cover 6. And I talk a lot about the cover 6 because that penny formation I really love. That's my bread and butter. You've got 5 linemen essentially. You've got your nose tackle, 2 defensive tackles, and then 2 edge rushers. And yeah, we've got, you got Davis, Hargrave, Cox, Sweat, Reddick. Let's go, man. And then, Kaiser White, TJ Edwards back there is that one linebacker. And then 5 defensive backs. And I thought a lot of times in certain situations when that was used in third down, you're playing essentially a quarter, half where, there's a guy with a quarter of the field for anyone who doesn't understand that. And then half of the field is, and you're doing the quarter on the side Jefferson's on, so you're doing everything you possibly can, or based on, their formation, everything like that. So I think for me, Jonathan Gannon finally got his head out of his ass because it's like, dude, I just literally bought, it's like taking my kid out and we go to the grocery store and I just bought him 16 things, every single piece of food that he wanted, sit there for an hour. I make every single piece of food. And he's like, this is not what I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and just grab that banana over there. And that's what I'm going to use instead. And it's like, but you have all this stuff. And I literally spent all that time. And now I would never freak out my kid like that about food, but he's not 5 years old anymore. But just to use an analogy, it was like, what are you doing, dude? So I think he thought, oh, it's the Lions, they have 7 points, F them, it's Jared Goff, which, okay, fair enough. But, you can't do that. And I think I literally said it because my brother at halftime, being the negative Nancy he's like, oh yeah, well, it was 24-7 last week too. And I was like, well, what did I say last week? You need to learn from this. So this time at halftime, we're choke slamming somebody through a table, getting pissed off, and we're finishing the game. So we didn't score again or anything like that, but the defense, dude, beautiful game. I can't. It was so amazing to see that game. What did they have? 193 yards total or something. It was something bad. They didn't even have a pass play over 19 yards. Like, what, dude? What? More pressure, though. Reddick and a lot of people, and look, I understand it. Reddick, Patrick Johnson, they're like, why are they dropping in coverage? But my point of breaking down those schemes, some of those schemes, they need a Sam linebacker. And sometimes, and we're only talking 3-4 times a game, that guy's going to drop into coverage. Now, a good quarterback's going to eat that alive if you're not playing well. I've seen Reddick and Johnson both struggle. Patrick, that is. And I get it, but they're learning this system and look, it was here last year, but these guys fit what is actually supposed to be happening. So they're doing things they weren't supposed to. But I think Reddick, get him after that quarterback more, find him ways. And I think he will. He has been the poor dude. He's got such great talent, but he was a middle linebacker. Then he was a defensive end. Now he's a Sam linebacker, all completely different roles. And it's like, I think the kid's going to feast. Unfortunately, he was limited today, but I think he'll be all right. And I think he's going to get his this week. I think seeing him smash Carson Wentz, dude, that would be beautiful, man. I'd love to see him get a sack this week.
That would be amazing. You brought up Jordan Davis a little bit. I was really excited, obviously, when we drafted him and leading one of the best college defenses of all time, and just the sheer size of the man. The fact that I feel like there's not a whole lot of human beings in the world that can block him one-on-one. You said we need to be patient, and that's something that I think like I said earlier with the Jalen Hurts stuff, that's something that I'm slowly learning to hold my overreactions. When we started 0-5 against the Lions, I was like, I'm not tweeting anything. I'm not doing it. I'm holding my thoughts in. And so, yeah, I've been overreactionary my whole life, and I'm just doing YouTube and stuff. I'm slowly learning to just maybe chill out, maybe wait 3 or 4 weeks, or whatever. But so the Jordan Davis thing, I was ready week 1, like put this guy on the field. I want to see him break through 2 blocks and smash somebody. And Gannon's been, patient with him. But like you said, when he was on the field, 2.9, yards per carry for the other team. Do you think is it a conditioning thing with Jordan Davis? He wasn't an every down defensive tackle at Georgia, right? So do you think that's mainly what it is?
I think I was going to say to you, guilty, because you were saying I just wanted to see him right away, right in there. And, that was my point of saying, like, I spent all offseason showing you why a nose tackle, why a real Sam linebacker, not Jannard Avery and Hassan Reddick specifically for that skill set. And it was like, Jordan Davis was the dream pick for me. I couldn't stress enough why, if you're going to run these odd fronts, you need to have a nose tackle. Now, you can run certain ones that are in certain situations. It's all about situational football. And, that's okay, but you need that big guy. You need that 2-gap monster. And that's Jordan Davis. So I was like, we have to get him with one of those first-round picks. We have to do that, dude. And we got him. I was like, okay, so this dude's going to be it. But I had to call myself out on that first week, because I was like, all right, dude, what did you say? Because we got to be patient, because especially with the young guys, because it's awesome, especially Nakobe Dean. In Nakobe Dean's instance, look how great TJ Edwards has been playing. Had a great pass breakup, or tackle for loss. And you look at Kaiser White.
Field, man.
Yep. And Kaiser White was my guy. I wanted desperately. I literally said, you have to get Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean and grab Kaiser White in free agency. That will make Eagles fans the happiest they've ever been, because you said it earlier. Like how he hates linebackers, I don't know. But Kaiser White, obviously from Philly. So it's like, well, the Jersey here, you get it. But it's like, this dude, he plays with that Philly toughness. And when we got him, I was like, okay, this might be like one of the, and then they just kept topping it. I was like, Howie, but Kaiser White, man, him and Edwards both look great out there. So it's like, look, Nakobe, keep doing what you got to do, buddy. Play on special teams, putting on some muscle, getting smarter, better. And I think he's going to be a huge part of this future. Him and Kaiser White, TJ Edwards, you can use them all different situations. So excited there. But Jordan Davis, you're the nose tackle, baby. So when you see them running all over you, that's when you put him in the game. So maybe that week 1, they were like, look, it's his first game. We don't want to throw him in the fire just yet. But I mean, he only played 22 snaps out of 69, right? So it was like, what? And then you come back, and I think he played 21. I'm not sure how many snaps total we had on offense.
I didn't see him any more than I saw in the week
before. But it was like 30% again. So they're easing him into it. And the way we were playing yesterday, that was, you didn't want him in. The, formations were in, the schemes we're playing because of them being in pass mode, one-dimensional football. Hey, hell yeah, you stop. Dalvin Cook had, 17 yards yesterday? Justin Jefferson, 48. Like, that's pretty awesome. And, yeah, Thielen got garbage time, so we had 52 at the end. But it's like, dude, I can't believe what happened. But Jordan Davis, man, I think in games where the script is more run heavy, I think you'll definitely see him out there. Maybe not so much next week either. They'll probably be dumping it off a lot to those backs. I think, we're going to create a lot of pressure. Hopefully we're going to finally, I'm putting it out there, putting that good juju. And then you got the Jags the next week. Maybe they'll try to pound it, so you've got James Robinson and Etienne there. So maybe they will, and maybe you'll see more of it there. But I think he's going to grow into that, and you're going to see him by midway through the year. He'll finally be getting, like 60s. And I don't even think the kid needs to play more than that, because it's situational football, but the havoc he wreaks, and the fact that it doesn't matter if it's run or pass, the fact that people are like, oh no, you don't want him in it. It's like, no, you do, because when he's in the zero technique or one technique right in front of the center or on the side of the guard, whatever he's doing, two gap football, he's taking up two gaps. Okay, taking 2-3 people for anyone that didn't get that. And like, running back, my man here just said, dude, I wanted to see him just out there right away, eating people alive, right? So I'm trying to be patient like I was with Hurts here. But, dude, how exciting is it? Because it's just how he not only killed it right here, got like the stud wide receiver to go with Devontae. I mean, all of these things to find out if Hurts is the guy, the defense is Gannon the guy. So all these questions we needed to answer, it's like, okay, let's find out right now. It's like, oh, shit. And next year, if Hurts continues to play like this, just imagine we go draft a corner, we draft an edge rusher, and we've got 2 first-round picks. The next year, you've got 2 second-round picks. And it's like, is this really happening? I think it is. And I think something special is brewing here in Philadelphia, man.
Yeah, so speaking of that, what Howie Roseman did this offseason, I was blown away by offensive side and defensive side of the ball. And I was saying, I know how good this team is on paper, both sides of the ball. The main question mark for me was Jalen Hurts coming this offseason. Yeah. And then I see him in 2 games, and I'm like, okay, that's how you're going to do it. Okay. Now I'm like, I don't see a weakness anywhere on this team. You can always use extra corners. You can always use extra edge rushers, but it's hard for me to even find an actual weak area of this team. I guess if you had to compare everything, you could say safety, but even Epps is playing he looks great so far. Gardner Johnson, I don't feel like I've seen much of him, but I saw him make a play the other day. But
couple mistakes.
Just after 2 games, people are saying the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. I couldn't even get that out of my mouth. The Eagles are the best team in the NFC. And I was like, holy shit. I went from last season where I thought they were going to win 5 games last year. I thought rookie head coach, a quarterback that was drafted to back up Carson Wentz. I just didn't see it, and I was wrong about that. And now, not even a calendar year later, they're the best team in the NFC. Some people are saying, how do you feel about that? And I'm going to bring up the power rankings on the screen because they are number 4 on the NFL's list as far as I think this is just CBS Sports, by the way. They might be somewhere else on another list, but for them to even be this high, I know it's 2 games, but I thought maybe it could be like one of those I didn't want to do that. One of those college, like when a college team starts out 2-0, but they're still kind of like, we're gonna wait to rank them that high.
It's the Eagles, dude.
There they are, number 4.
Wow.
I don't even know what to say.
Wow.
Do you feel like and these are 3? Am I wrong? No, Buccaneers NFC, right? Buccaneers are 3. I would have thought the Rams would have been up here somewhere. 7, the Rams. But do you feel like they're the best team in the NFC? I mean, if the Bucs are 3,
what scares me. Look, when I talked about this, I said this, bro, and I'm dead ass. Last year, I said it. I was like, I think we're going to build a Super Bowl contender if he uses those picks. And I literally mapped out the big name wide receivers that would be available. A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, a lot of guys that were coming up on contracts. If you give that instead of Jalen Reagor with Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, they added Zach Pascal, a red zone threat that can block. You have Goddard, you've got Stoll, they added Calcaterra. So you've got Stoll, the Y-type tight end. You've got the F-type, receiving type Ertz kind of guy in Calcaterra. And then you've got your H-back and Stoll. So they've got, you said it, where's the weak? There's so many different things you could do every week. Okay, there's the weakness for this team. We're going to run a lot more of this. So I think it's crazy, dude, that, all these things happened. And again, I'm not trying to sit here and toot my horn, but what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to stick to my guns because I said it last year. I feel that if they do those things, and now you saw how crazy it was, but now how they look, I truly feel that way, that they are a Super Bowl contender. Now, when I say that, what I mean is they have the talent. If they continue to grow, they stay healthy, I really do think they could challenge anyone. So we will see what happens within the next 16 weeks. But Tampa Bay, banged up right now. Chris Godwin is out. Julio Jones is out. Green Bay Packers can't figure out who their receiver is. Finally just got Lazard back. Titanian's not catching anything. It's like, I think it's wide open. The Rams, they struggled. They were shown how to be beat by the Bills. And it's like, damn, dude, like it's wide open in the NFL. The Bengals getting their ass kicked. The Chiefs don't have Hill, but it's still Mahomes, So I respect that up there at number 2. And I think the Bills at number 1, they've proven they've got, an offense and a defense that is just insane. So I made the prediction that it would be the Eagles and the Bills in the Super Bowl. And, that was a long time ago. And I really think that, I'm seeing people like LaShawn McCoy saying it now. I'm seeing the media saying this stuff now, but what I was saying at first was this kind of worries me because once they start jumping on board, then I get a little scared because I'm like, oh, shit. Because then everybody's an Eagles fan. It's like, no. You guys leave us alone. No. But the Rams are explosive as hell. I think, looking at them in the AFC, the Dolphins, so really to me in the NFC, it's you got the Rams, the Packers, and the Bucks. And I think we could be better than every single one of those teams. I really think that any given Sunday, right? And I think the defense, we just show we can stop Justin Jefferson. We can stop Cooper Kupp. I think our offense can take on any defense. I don't care about Aaron Donald. I know that it would be a challenge, but I'm just saying we have the talent that you can run so many different ways on offense and defense against any team. And that's why this offseason was about getting versatile players that fill different roles so you can play these different schemes on offense, on defense. You even see your linemen. Oh, this guy can play guard. He can play tackle. Oh, I played center when I was pooping one time. Like, they've all got crazy stories where it's like, I love it, man. And they're looking for those guys. They're looking for leaders. And I think we're building something. So I don't want to say it just because they're saying it now is the only point I want to make. But I think this team can be the best team in the NFC. And I think they proved that. Let's say that. This past week, they proved that, yes, with all of that added talent, Jonathan Gannon is a pretty bright mind. He just needs to get his head out of his ass. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt. This is his second year. It does take some time. We saw Belichick, he definitely struggled at first. And it's like in the right situation, he's got the right pieces. Let's watch special things happen. I think it's going to come down to, maybe Eagles, Rams, NFC Championship. That'd be awesome. And then Chiefs, Bills in the AFC. Could you imagine, bro, if we got to face Andy Reid or Bills, Eagles? I saw a thing that was like, America doesn't have the infrastructure for an Eagles, Bills. I was like, that's what I'm saying, mother. My best friend is a Bills fan. So we will literally fight rhinos to get tickets. You know what I mean? Because he's a diehard Bills fan. So we've grown up our whole lives busting each other's balls. And we're like, are we really both about to be awesome this year? So it feels pretty good, man. I do think they can definitely be the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, the Bills Eagles Super Bowl would just destroy the NFL. The parking lot would be on fire.
They make a lot of money though, but they'd lose a lot too. Yeah.
There would be casualties.
It would be like the Avengers. Legs. You know what I mean? Like afterwards, everybody's like, "Wait, like thanks for saving us, but you just destroyed our effing country, man." That's more like The Boys, actually, which is a great show. But yeah, man, this is crazy what we're building here, and I think. If we are even if we get into the playoffs, we do things. You said it last year. A lot of people had us at 3 wins, and I had us at 9 or 10 because I felt the rushing attack was going to be the thing. And dude, I'm telling you, people are like, I'm not listening to you anymore. You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm like, dog, I'm just trying to show you what I see. And we talk about what we already had here, and that's the best damn offensive line in the game. So when you've got that really helps a young quarterback. So it was Siriani at first that was putting Hurts in harm's way, throwing over 30 times a game. It was like run that. Yep. So he gives it up to Steichen. We're running the ball. So everybody's learning. Keep learning. 1% better every day. Plant your little flowers. Whatever you got to do. I don't care. Let's go Birds.
So you think that was that it that Sirianni passed the play calling off when the whole arena's holding up like run the ball signs and like he was just does he not know what he's doing with calling plays? And he was like, okay, fine, you take it? Or do you think it was more of a maybe like collective kind of thing where they both work on the game plan together, but you're just going to be the guy out there calling the play that we both think you should be calling? You know what I mean? Or was he like, all right, yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Take the play calling book and you do it. I don't know.
Well, he helped, with a lot of the game planning, but never really was play calling before. So he wanted to do that, wanted to test it out, and we all saw that. Now, I think what happened was he realized his destiny. And anybody that you talk to, you saw the interviews with the Colts, all these things, the things they had to say about him, like he's fighting with the fans of the other teams during the games, like, shut the F up. They're like yelling to the players. If something happens, he's like, what's up now? Like that. That's awesome. So
I love it.
This dude is just, he's all about football. He's played the game. He was a wide receiver. Oh, yeah. So love the dude. And I always, love guys like that. And I thought it's like watching what Doug Peterson should have done. And it's like, you should have gave up the play calling. You refused it. You were stubborn and I know best. And what I said was, why wouldn't you as a head coach? Like literally. And Sirianni said the reason he did it was so he could be a head coach. I want to be able to, if I need to say something to the defensive guy, I'm going to go walk over to the defense. I trust my offensive coordinator. He's running the play. I don't give a shit right now. It's the beginning of the drive. I'm coming back on second down. We're going to see, he's got 7 yards to go, 3 yards. Okay, I'll make my decision. Maybe I'm going to step in. When you're the head coach, hey, dick bag, it's 3rd and 3. This is what you're running. Like, I'm the head coach. So in the end, it's whatever I want. I mean, I could do it on defense too. Like, Gannon, what? Nah, dude. Like, no. So I would take that reign. You know what I mean? I'm going to be here. I'm going to lift you up when you need it. I'm going to get in your face when you need it. I'm going to do my job as the leader of this team, the head coach. And I think that was the smartest thing he could have ever done. So for me, it was like, holy shit, this guy learned that in a few games. Doug Peters was like, yeah, I don't see anything wrong. The whole fucking house is on fire. You're like, yeah, nothing. We're 4 wins. I don't know.
I think, I mean, he delivered a ring to Philly.
I love him more than anything.
Trophy.
Don't get me wrong. I love him.
No, but what I'm saying is I think winning the Super Bowl was probably the worst thing for his
all
ego.
of them.
Yeah,
Howie,
Howie too. Yeah. He was just like,
we had
a
bad couple years, bro.
I know what I'm doing. I won the Super Bowl. Everybody listen to me, and this is how I won it. And it just wasn't working. I mean, like Carson, we were leading the league. In Carson Wentz was leading the league in interceptions. He was the most pressured quarterback in the NFL, and Doug Peterson was dropping him back in deep drops more than any quarterback in the NFL. So he was doing exactly what was leading to the issue, and he just wouldn't stop.
I felt like I was watching a horror movie every time. Like, he's doing this on purpose, right? Like, he's sabotaging this, like.
And then you had Carson Wentz adding to it by just refusing to get rid of the ball and just taking shots to the face.
And how he drafted. It was literally each one of them. It was like Carson. It was like, you wouldn't have got here without me. Howie's like, yeah, well, I made sure we had the right pieces. Doug's like, well, I called the Phillies beard. So it's like everybody thinks they got the biggest John in the room. And it's like, that was our problem. And I said, I hope they all learn from it. And, best of luck to Doug. Carson, not so much this Sunday. Sorry, bud. And then, it's just, if you can all learn from it, that's all I ask. Improve, because I expect mistakes from this very young team, still very young. I think the 7th youngest on average. So a lot of youth, and it's just great because we've got great players. But when those great players leave, you got Kelsey coming up. Exactly. Who knows how much Lane has got, but you've got them learning. You've got Zach McPherson getting better and better because he's behind Bradbury and Slay. You've got Maddox in the middle, just like, I'm surrounded by greats here, and it's, this is what a great team is. Yep. And it's like, this is how you build a dynasty. And I'm not saying because it's hard to be a dynasty, but I think in the terms of you could be competing for the next few years. And that kind of harpens back, though. Do you tone it down with Jalen Hurts? Because you got to have him healthy.
Yeah. Because that's what we were used to in the, I don't know how old you are, but for me, 99, 2000, like for 10 straight years, 10, 11, 12 straight years. The Eagles were contenders every year. Every year we got to watch the playoffs. We got to watch great playoff battles and wins, and they never won a Super Bowl in that era, but it was just so much fun for my life. That 10 years was so much fun.
Cunningham.
Then you win the Super Bowl, and then we just had this epic spiral, and it was like, oh my God, are we going to go back to like early 90s where I was getting made fun of for wearing the Eagles starter jacket when I was in elementary school.
I'm 36 years old. So I got, dude, it was right when I was like getting old enough, I was in school. I was wearing my Cunningham jersey. Like Jaws was just leaving. That was my guy, the Rocket, Randall Cunningham. And we were not great after that when he got hurt, all those things. I grew up in it, but I learned a lot about staying true to my team, win, lose, or tie, bleed green. And I could be pissed off and complain about shit, but I still love my birds. And only I talk shit about my birds. No Cowboys fans, no Giants. We talk amongst ourselves. You know what I mean? F them talking about us. Only we do that. But it's just like, your brother, like, nobody's kicking his ass with me. But
exactly.
I just think, this team, it's a beautiful thing right now, man. And it's just awesome to see everybody like coming together right now. This is what we need, because you said it, dude. It was rough after those couple years, because it sounds like you're around my age. And I grew up, and then in my teenage years, dude, we were spoiled. You get McNabb, you get freaking Shady, Westbrook, dude, everybody. I mean, we could go on for ages. T.O., Jackson, Macklin. But I think, it's awesome being an Eagles fan. We're obviously the most passionate, and it's people that I ran into Canadians at the game, and dude, I was like, you're about to witness something great. It was before the game. And I hope that Austin person, he said he was going to find my YouTube, but I was explaining how we could stop Justin Jefferson to him and just all this stuff. And I was like, you're about to witness the greatest thing in history, the link, baby. And those cheers. And I ran into him after the game, and he was like, he was a little sauced, but he was like, dude, this is the greatest day of my life. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, because that love in the air, man, like building something effing special here, brother. And couldn't ask for a better way to go out because it's been rough the past few years, bro. You know, I almost died, and we get to Super Bowl, and I'm like, yeah. So now I'm like, yeah, we win the Super Bowl, so I'm pumped. And then just shit just starts burning everywhere, on fire everywhere. And I'm like trying to stay, and I'm like, look, man, we should all just, this is bad. We're all jumping. So it's like, we're trying to break it down, but it's like this has to be broken, you know? So we realized that Carson had to go, Doug had to go. And here we are now, man, talking about, look at us. And bro, like what? His first game, 10 for 155 and a touchdown. Like, you shit me? So 100% agree, Godzilla. He was Godzilla. I was literally ready to run right through that effing wall. It's like, this is what we're talking about, baby. Let's go. And we're just going to see more and more of that. It's going to get better, man. You establish that run. We didn't even have to run that much, but you get that going, the play action, dude. It's night. You saw Quez's bomb.
I kind of predicted that after week 1 that, the Minnesota Vikings would pay more attention to A.J. Brown. I don't know what the hell the Detroit Lions were even doing because I watched some of I didn't watch all of the all-22 stuff, but I watched a lot of, I replayed the game. I watched a lot of and this guy was just wide open over the middle of the field the whole game. Like, they weren't doing anything to try to stop probably the best wide receiver over the middle of the field, one of them in the NFL. And so I figured the Vikings would pay more attention to that, and then Devontae would get his, and Dallas Goedert would get a little more, and that was, that's exactly what happened. There's so many weapons on this offense. It's hard. I don't know.
Well, you called it, dude. You just said it, that you called it, and it's exactly what they did. They not only they start clearing them out, like they start going back to watching everybody else, like, oh, they're not going to do the same thing, right? He's getting these chunk plays, and he had like 5 for 69, I think it was. Yep. But then that opened up for everybody else, and we spread it around. He hit 8 different receivers in that game. 4 of them, right, were 69 yards and more. So you had the 69 yards there that we talked about for AJ. I think Quez had 69 with 2 catches because that one bomb. But, dude, you had Goddard had 5 catches for 82, right? His blocking was improved, too, so I love to see that. Devontae Smith, though, 7 catches, 80 yards after he didn't catch one the week before. That's what you want to see each week. Where are we coming at you, baby? Is it Miles? Is it Goddard? Is it AJ? Is it Devontae? Is it Quez? Is it Zach? Is it Hurts? Right. Let's go.
And that's another thing. That's another thing with Hurts' development. He was a one read and run quarterback. He would stare down his receiver a lot, and even week 1 in Detroit, which I didn't slander him for because the guy was wide open the whole game. I'm not throwing it down. If they're leaving him open, I'm confused. All right. Week 2, it was like he showed that. I mean, he was just reading the whole field. He wasn't locked in on one guy. He was like watching what the defense gives him and hitting the right decision. Seemed like
grew up right in front of us, bro.
Right in front of us in one off season. I mean,
amazing.
If he continues to do this, I told people I would buy 5 Hurts season hats from Lord Brunson.
Nice.
And I'll wear one for the rest of the season, and I'll give away 4 of them.
Nice.
There's nothing I would be happier to be wrong about than Jalen Hurts becoming a franchise winning quarterback. I don't know what else to say.
And we're all together now, man. And it's, I like having busting balls when people. I made this one thing, and it was like showing that it was development is real. That was the point. And it was Josh Allen in 19 games sucked. Jalen Hurts was a little bit better, but he can get better. And a lot of people were like, hey, he's not. And I said, I even put in the tweet, like, I'm not saying anything about the arm and intangibles, nothing. They're not alike. I'm just saying, let's give him time because this kid, he's raw. So, look, and he wasn't as raw. He's played football a while. I just meant in the sense of, with the system changing, all that stuff, being a real pocket quarterback while still doing the dual threat stuff. So, dude, how amazing is it, though, that he was able to do all those things in one off season? Like that's blowing my mind thinking about. Like, he really did have to work on all those things. And we broke it down, like, individually. And you said it. He was hitting every receiver now. So now it was opening it up, and it's like, what are they going to do, man, when Jalen Hurts continues to get better? How do you stop that? You've got the best offensive line, and, I mean, you have no idea how it's going to come at you. So keep continuing to progress on your throws, stay in the pocket, your pocket awareness, how you're holding the ball, the torque, how you're throwing it. Just you can see he's not sailing them. He's not throwing them short. It was just, like you said, the reads. It was all those little things, and you can see that he worked. You watched him do it against Minnesota, and it was like watching your little baby grow up.
Yeah, seriously. So I guess before we get up out of here, we'll talk about the Commanders matchup a little bit. Obviously, the reuniting of Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles. Apparently he just had an interview. Somebody asked me if I heard it. I didn't. I don't really care to be honest. I don't.
I literally
not that
said the same thing when they said it to me. I was like, I don't care about Carson Wentz.
Not that I don't. Honestly, not that I. What he said isn't like some kind of content. I think he's the most boring person to listen to. Like, he's not exciting at all. I'm not listening. I'm not listening to Carson Wentz talk.
Yes.
But yeah, so like I said, I don't think this team's going to be easy to stop. Well, I don't know anything I think about the Commanders' defense right now. I know over the past couple of years they were supposed to be a decent defense. I think last year with the rookie that they had, who I think got injured. I'm just going off the top of my head, but I think Chase Young, they were supposed to have one of the best defensive lines in football. They were supposed to be scary. I don't know what their defense. Do you know what their defense is looking like right now? And if you do, or if you have a little bit of an assessment of it, like, what do you think the chances are of them slowing down all the weapons that we're talking about?
Yeah, it's a great question. And you hit it. What happened? I literally, and you and I were talking a little before the show. You're like, didn't you just make a show? I was talking about this defense missing Chase Young, breaking down what this defense looks like, and obviously huge not having him. But they still have Montez Sweat. They have James Smith-Williams on the other side, Shaka Toney, and Casey Tuill. We all remember Ife Obata was brought in for free agency, so they've got some edge rushers there. But in the middle, you've got Jonathan Allen, and you've still got Deron Payne there. So you've got two monsters who can just eat you alive. So we still have to watch out there. But I think, we've got, again, the talent. The outside runs, the screens, all the things we've been doing to counteract stuff like that. What happened to that line? They're not as scary as they used to be. And what happened to that defense as a whole? Weirdly, as this sounds, Ronald Darby left. William Jackson, the third, came from Cincinnati, and I was like, oh, that's a much better corner, so they're only going to get better. They got worse. And at times people were like, oh, it's injuries. And then this guy would come back, and I'd be like, well, what's the excuse this week? Because they just sucked ass. So it was weird, but they've got Kendall Fuller, and they've got him there. And then at the nickel, they got Benjamin St. Juste, who I do like. But we're going to see how these kids can do against these wide receivers. I think they're going to get smoked, bro. And one thing I do like, their linebacker, Jamin Davis, they got last year in the draft. He is going to, try to do his best with some help from the safeties and Bobby McCain. They got Derek Forrest. Cameron Curl should be able to play. He was a full participant today. We'll see if he comes back. Their safety who missed the first 2 weeks. But they've got Cole Holcomb. Then they've got Jamin Davis as linebackers. They're going to try to stop the run game, Miles and Boston and Kenny. They'll try to stop Goddard. But all of those weapons, I'm telling you, all those, I just named their whole defense, and I'm telling you, not one of those people is going to be able to stop their assignments. They can do whatever they want, but I think this offense is going to steamroll on them, dude. And again, I said this earlier in my show, though. I was like, I'm excited because of what we look like this week, but let's see what the weather looks like in Washington. Let's see how they come out play. Like, you never know. So it's a divisional matchup. We all know I don't care if we are the worst team, haven't won yet, and they are undefeated. It does not matter. Yeah. It's the NFC East. These guys are going to be hungry. And it's Carson Wentz versus Jalen Hurts. So, this is going to be a battle to the death. So
I didn't even think of it like that, man. It's Carson Wentz versus Jalen Hurts.
Dude.
It's come full circle.
Dude, time is a flat circle, my friend. It's wild. And it's like, you look at that offense, though, and people are like, oh, well, you better watch out. Carson's slinging. It's like, look, I know he's getting some garbage time stats, and I know the guy's got talent, but I'm still seeing him make the same stupid ass mistakes. So that's great. Yep, you don't have a great line. You've got a lot of linemen that are hurt, but you do have weapons. That's cute. Let's see if you can get it to them. Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, I think they're going to try to dump it off a lot to those guys. Logan Thomas, let's try to key in on him. But obviously, they've got Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, and Jahan Dotson. Those are some pretty damn good receivers. We can try to, make them one-dimensional just like we did with the Vikings. And I think, good luck, Carson, buddy. I think it could be turnover city for them. I'd love to go into their house and just beat their ass.
Yeah, you said it. You said it right there, man. Like, Carson Wentz had all, and I just think, I don't think he'll ever stop playing the way that he's played his whole life, and that's always going to be something that holds him back. His rookie season, they were saying like, yeah, if you just like stop running and diving head first into people, you can be great. And then the next year, we're 11-2, and he dives head first into everyone and tears his ACL, and then he comes back and continues to just take shot after shot after shot. The guy just absolutely gets himself killed. And I saw an interception on a highlight. I was going through just the whole NFL as quick as I could, but I saw an interception where he tried to throw a little running back screen over the middle, it looked like, and he threw it right to a defensive lineman, I think.
I posted that in my fantasy chat. I was like, this is where we're at right here. I have the video of it. That was horrendous. Yeah, I saw that.
So Carson's, he's just always going to make, and we have the defense that can force quarterbacks to make mistakes. So I expect us to get the best version of the Carson Wentz mistake wagon on Sunday for sure. I see him doing some dumb things when we throw different looks at him. So I'm excited for that too. When we think about the offense against that Commanders defense, and we think about what our defense looked like against Minnesota with Carson Wentz being, the potential just boneheaded play left and right, this could actually end up being kind of a blowout.
I think it could, man. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. I am not just saying it because of the Vikings, but I listed off all the matchups. And, tomorrow I'm doing a top 10 matchup. So it's already kind of in my head. And it's like, where do you attack them? So it's like, I think we can attack them however the hell we want. I really am not afraid of any of them, dude. I mentioned all of the secondary. Maybe Goddard. It's going to be fun to see John Davis, very athletic, but good luck, young man, against Dallas Goddard. So come get some, dude.
Yeah, man. Hey, I want to say thanks everyone for coming through. Thanks for hanging out. Jimmy, of course, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You are. I consider. I think there's a good dynamic because you are. You're like a computer to me. You just named the entire Commanders secondary. I'm more of just a reactionary fan. I just sit up here and say what I think. You're like a student of the game, and you just study the hell out of it. So it's great to just have you on here. You educated me a lot just in this 1 hour. So thanks for coming on, man. We'll definitely do this again. Thanks for everyone hanging out. Subscribe to Jimmy Smith on the Road to Victory with Jimmy Smith on YouTube, by the way, for all of his in-depth breakdowns on the Philadelphia Eagles. And yeah, man, I don't think the Commanders stand a chance in this matchup, man. But until next time, Jimmy, man, thanks for coming through.
Dude,
everyone hit
this
the like
was
button.
Awesome. I can't wait to do it again, man. It was a pleasure getting to meet you before the show, getting to go through the show. And, man, I can't wait for the next time. Let's enjoy this ride together, my man. And everyone out there, thank you so much. And hopefully look forward to meeting some of you. But you better be hitting that like button for this man right here and subscribing because his stuff is awesome. Can't wait for the Sixers in a month, baby. But let's go Birds for now, baby.
Go Birds. Thanks, man.
Of course.